Hello, Blair. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Daniel. How are you?
Could be better. Crazy
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
Crazy
yeah. I know
times.
that I'm very shaken up by it myself, and I don't have family there, and I've just been crying, and it's just so, yeah, it's beyond words. Psychopath.
Yeah, it's crazy time. It's crazy time.
Yeah.
Um, we're gonna
So
wait.
y'all are,
We have
you're
we have
setting
a
up.
dozen or so people coming, so we'll wait for everybody, obviously. But we
Okay.
can talk about it as we wait. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. No, I just I'm glad to see that you guys are setting something up, and that you're getting a lot of support.
Mhm.
How is your team?
Uh, well, there everyone's alive and safe. Safe,
Okay.
relatively speaking. I mean, it's for now.
Are they in the
Uh,
West or?
so they're all over the place. There we have a team all over Russia. We have a team all over Ukraine. We have some people in Poland. So we have people everywhere, and the ones in the east obviously have it worse. Some of them are relocated. Some of them stayed. So we're getting reports from there. Some people are from the south and the west. So it's sort of they're everywhere.
Yeah,
And then family on top of it, we have family pretty much everywhere, like every possible, like everywhere, like
yeah,
literally
all through,
scattered all over the country. Yeah.
all through the invasion. Okay, well, I'm just gonna mute myself again, and we'll wait for everyone to come in, and
Mhm.
I'll let you start. But yeah, my heart's with you and your family, and let's see what we can all do. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Blair. Hello, Vadim. Nice to see you. Hello, Anastasia. We're gonna wait for everyone to join a few minutes. Uh, the, there's about a dozen people that signed up, so we're gonna wait for them to get here. Vadim, how's it going? I know that Vadim is a friend of mine, and he's from Ukraine, and he's doing his portion of trying to help. Vadim, tell us a little bit about what you're up
Yeah,
to.
it's going good. It's joining you guys because I exceed what I can do personally, and there is more and more things that can be done. So if we can do it on a bigger scale with you guys, through you guys, that'll be awesome. So I just wanted to give you one testimony. I was trying to get my sister's in-laws from Kharkov. They were there, and 4 days, 4 last days, they were in bunkers. Like tried to get out to their home to feed the dog and get some produce. Got in the middle of the shooting. They're safe, and they were afraid to leave because like having what you have right now seems more safe than something unknown in another town. And the big push, and we were praying, just God let them get out of there. And a missile landed in the yard of the apartment block where they were in the basement and didn't explode. Like
Crazy.
It
this
did not
is
explode, right? You said it did not.
That was the big push for them. Of course, they were panicking, but they got together. They're in Poltava right now, and they're heading to Western Ukraine. So thank God that they're safe.
Crazy. Yeah. We'll wait a couple more minutes. I don't know how Zoom like informs people of the hopefully. I mean, like I said, we had about a dozen people sign up. I don't know how many will actually.
I don't
Yeah.
think there was a reminder.
There was not a reminder. Okay, let's see if I can send one out. Let's see, email settings. Yeah, I mean, everything is done very quick. So, okay, let me see. I guess there's I can select everybody, and I can resend confirmation email. Okay, so that's sent now again. So hopefully that's gonna help.
Daniel, are you planning to share about the name, Grace T?
It's yeah, I can. It's on the website as well. Hello, Jen. It sounds like we had a few people sign up, but it sounds like I didn't set up the invitation like reminder emails. So the meeting is being
one.
okay. You got one. Okay, good.
I got a
Okay, we got
confirmation. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because this was done in a rush. All right, we're gonna start. So let's wait for Julia to connect. Julia, hello. All right, boys and girls. So first of all, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, I personally can only be here for 20 more minutes because I need to finalize the banking situation for Grace T for us to send the money over. And the business banker was only open at 10:30 at my time. So I needed to prioritize that. However, my partner Alex is on the call. My business partner Alex, he has a ton of family there. And actually one of the partners to whom we're sending money is his childhood friend. That's how, so he can tell you more about the conflict. If you have questions, Vadim is also very well informed. I'll tell you a little bit about the organization as probably there are questions. And then if you have a question, you can post it in chat. I'd love to answer it before I have to run. I do apologize that I have to run, but I needed to prioritize the payment situation first. Right now, the biggest challenge is sending the money over because even though we collected money, depositing it into the bank account takes time, and then sending it over takes time. And they need the money like today, not in 2 weeks. So I'm trying to like expedite the process. Okay, so real quick, I was born in Russia. I'm half Ukrainian. My dad's side is still in Ukraine. My wife is fully Ukrainian. The team that we work with, half of it, a large amount is in Ukraine, a large amount is Russia. Russians and Ukrainians are very intermixed. From what I last heard, like 30% of Russians have family in Ukraine, something like that, or vice versa. Very, very close relations. So first question, probably people wonder is how were we able to open the nonprofit so quickly? The truth is that the organization itself has been open for 10 years. 10 years ago, we went through 10 years. I'm gonna mute you, Jen. It's okay. 10 years ago, we opened the nonprofit. We went through all the paperwork. It was a while ago. I don't remember the details, but I believe it took us a year to get all the paperwork finished and to get a nonprofit 501c3 status with the IRS. We got that status, but it was basically on hold and we didn't do anything with the organization for the last 10 years. I kept renewing all the licensing. I kept it all up to date with the IRS just in case one day we're going to need it. 3 days ago, was it 4 days ago? I don't remember. Everything's mixed. 4 days ago, I realized, well, I'm feeling helpless because we're on our phones 24/7, and that's all. Like, it just seems like there's nothing else we can do other than post, outrage on social media. And so I'm like, hey, we have the status, we have the ability to make this into a non-profit that we can help Ukrainians. So within 48 hours, Alex here on the call built the website, and then we have another coworker and friend. She helped with a lot of the copy, and I figured out all the financial things to make sure that the baking side of things. So within 48 hours, we were able to open Grace T. It is registered with the U.S. government as a 501c3. Everything's legit. Taxes are donations are tax deductible. Like, all that stuff is official. My wife and I officially are the ones running it. Unfortunately, my wife could not be on the call because she got really sick, and also my son, who's a 6-month-old, is also sick. Next, probably people wonder, how do we send the money, and how do we choose to whom we want to send the money? Well, the idea behind the organization, when I decided to make it official is that I wanted to send money directly to people either we know personally that are helping refugees and victims, or somebody I know well, like Alex in this case, knows somebody there that is helping. Or larger organizations are obviously great because they have more resources, etc. But it's slower, and there are often administrative costs that are on top. I wanted for this to be a way for people to make sure that 100% of their donations are going directly to Ukraine, to people that we trust and that are doing something already there. Right now, we have 3 contacts there to whom I'll be sending money. One is, like I said, Alex's childhood friend. He, prior to us contacting him, he was already helping refugees. He was already helping buying food and organizing a humanitarian effort. From what I understand, first on his own, and then with the church that he's connected to. I'm posting updates and videos and so on Instagram. He like one of the stories that he told us was that they took 8 buses. They're in the West. They took 8 buses to go to the East to pick up refugees. Things like that, like even fuel is expensive and hard to get. So we're helping him. Another contact is my second cousin, who is in Lviv, in the western side. Lviv is the hub for going to Poland. It's very close to Poland. So everyone from the rest of Ukraine is essentially going to Lviv, getting off the train, and they're 50 miles away from the border. So he's helping with transporting people to the border, giving them basic necessities, food, medicine, etc. I know him personally. When I was in Ukraine for 2 months, we spent many dinners and lunches together. Really great people. The third contact is an aunt. She's in the East. She is in a smaller town to which a lot of the Eastern people residing in the East are fleeing to, because it's a smaller town called Drushkovka. And so she is the aunt of one of my best friends. She is already helping people before we contacted them. This was important to us, that we're not just sending money and asking someone to start helping, but they are already helping. All 3 of these people I've spoken to on the phone. I explained what the organization is, that we don't want to spend money on any non-civilian victims, and they are spending a lot of their own money, and what we're able to do is a very small amount. So far, to give you an update, as of right now, and I believe it's been now 2 days since we launched Grace Tea, not even 2 days. Right now we have, let's see, we have almost $15,000 collected from, let's see how many, sorry, I want to tell you how many people donated. 44 people donated. And I know, and I've been getting a lot of phone calls from different people about the fact that they are going to be donating very soon. Right now, the biggest challenge is, again, getting money there quickly, because from Stripe, which collects the funds, there's a bit of a delay before they actually send the money, deposit the money into the bank. Then in Russia, Ukraine, they have this system that's gonna sound weird to Americans, but there's the system where you can deposit money simply by knowing the person's debit card number. So that is how we're depositing money. We're depositing money onto their bank. I'm using wise.com. You can check it out yourself. And the sending itself is secure, but the time it takes, it's like all over the place. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes literally, and sometimes it can take 5 days. So far, I have not gotten any money out of the donations into the bank account. It's in the process, and that money will arrive on Wednesday. However, because I wanted to send at least something as quickly as possible, I took 6,000 of my own money and I sent it over yesterday, some of which has already arrived. And I'll figure out all the stuff, next week. What else? The name Grace Tea, originally the idea is grace. I'm a Christian. Grace is very important to me. Tea is something that all the Slavic people, Russians, Ukrainians, everyone loves and drinks lots of. We put those two together, we got Grace Tea. Well, okay. Do you have any questions? You're on mute, Blair. Blair, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, so obviously you have big reach into the photo community, all around the world. I just wanted to say that if you want to connect with me personally, Jen Tai, our social media director's on the phone. If we can give you any, help with anything, writing, getting stuff out on social media, creating a photographers community rally for this. I'm sure you know everybody out there. So if we can help facilitate that, just please let us know, okay?
Thank you so much. I'm going to post a link into the chat. You saw this already, but we put together a list of 6 organizations that we did some research and we recommend. These are organizations that are strictly focused on civilian humanitarian support. Anyone can either send this link or just copy whichever you like whichever organizations you prefer or that stand out, copy the information and send it out. Any help is very valued. The most important help is right now essentially the marketing side of the organization, because we need to spread the word. I am 100% transparent and available. Like if anyone wants to call me, ask me questions, they want to meet with me and ask me like how I'm making decisions, where to send the money, how that's a completely open book. Every dollar that's donated minus the banking fees, like the 3% transaction fee, and then when we send money over, probably adds up to about 4-ish%. So basically 96% of what's donated ends up in the hands of people there. Every other operational cost, whether it be like the website or anything else, I'm covering out of my own pocket. So there are no sort of overhead that we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that, photographers for Grace Tea or something like that, where we're not just sending out a bunch of different links, but, really pulling the photography community together.
That would be super helpful. That would be super helpful. If you can organize that and I can participate in any way you'd like me to, like get on a call or make an announcement, make a video or anything you want, you'd like, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, we can just do an Instagram live and then I'll brainstorm with Jen on how we can do this. So
That would be
okay,
amazing. That would be very, very
amazing
helpful.
job you're doing, incredible job. So great in every way. I love the transparency and just the well thought out way that you've handled this and that you were prepared in advance. It's really amazing. So yeah, we'll be in.
Thank you so much.
Daniel, there's a
Carla,
question. Yeah, question.
Carla asks a question. Our web designer with his family is currently in Poltava. How can we help him and also get his family and wife, kids out to the West? Carla, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Vadim may be able to help more than I would. Vadim, would you speak on this?
Yeah. So I was helping individuals specifically to get from the war zone to safer places. So the biggest thing is connection. People, it's hard for them to leave when they don't know where they're going. So I was connecting. I have a lot of friends in Ternopil region, that's west of Ukraine, in Lviv. I grew up in Lviv. I have a lot of people in Rivne, where my uncle grew up. So my uncle and his church that is in Cherkasy, which is 2 hours away from Kiev, not safe anymore. So some people were transitioning to Cherkasy first and then going to Western Ukraine. So the main thing is to connect them with people. When people know, hey, someone is waiting for me on the other side, trains are going there. Get on the train. It'll take some time. It'll take half a day to get on the train. Get on the train, go to Western Ukraine. Poland is open. People, only yesterday, mom, her son is with epilepsy and like she was crossing the border and she was freaking out. She's like, I don't know what is waiting me on the other side in Poland. In Poland, you just cross the border. Ukrainian passport, international passport, doesn't matter. Social workers, police, they have hotels that they have available for refugees from Ukraine. They house you there for 2-3 days while you are figuring out where you can go. Some jobs, some factories in my sister's town, who is in Poland right now, their woodwork factory sends shuttles to the border, back to her town, and they're providing jobs for people in Poland so that they can have money and live there. So there are all kinds of ways. If people are willing, we just need to connect them with others in western side of Ukraine if they want to go further. My other sister lives in Italy. She helps people who come to Italy to help them settle and help with some financials with housing. So and so many people, if you start looking, like living in Poland, and you see so many things, so many, and for people in Ukraine, it's hard. It's the question is like, is it fake or not? And when they can trust the person that tells them, hey, this is real, this is the person, give them a call, they have housing, it's available, that gives them peace, and that gives them courage to get on the train and actually go across the country to a safe place.
I'm gonna post
So
in
if
the
you
chat
need
also.
contacts, I can provide my email address. You can.
But
find
would
me
you
on
put your
Facebook
email?
with my name,
Actually,
which you can see.
I see it on your phone. Can you dictate it so I can put it into chat?
Yeah.
Vadim, I have successfully found places for people through Prehistic UA. That's the website I sent to the chat. Carla, you can also give that link directly to your web designer. It's basically a bunch of posts from people who are offering free accommodation for a couple of nights, maybe up to 2 weeks, on his way to the border. I personally talked to probably 5 of different people on the list, so the ads are relevant. The ads are up to date.
That's great.
Any other questions about anything that I can answer before I have to run?
Yeah, a question, Daniel, how do you choose who are you working with? Of course, like the biggest thing, like for me, is trust. Usually, if I trust people, I send them money. And, you know, Alex, knowing that his friend is doing all this, definitely let's do that. If someone, let's say I have friends who are staying in Kiev and they have a minivan and they're getting people out of the city to nearby towns, because, you know, to get on the train in Kiev is super difficult, you know, so they are trying to get them even to Zhytomyr, and then from there to western part of Ukraine. Is there something that your organization, if I provide contacts, that your organization can do and help? How do you choose who you are sending money to? That's primarily the question.
Great question. So I just want to say that 4 days ago was the first time I had an idea for it. So everything is sort of like just happening as it goes. So far, we have 15,000 that we collected, and we have 3 contacts. I don't want to have too many contacts, because then we're going to be sending like, you know, $100 to each, and it's going to be just going to feel like a little bit not good. However, I do want to help people like that are especially doing things like that are trying to on the ground, like get people out. So let's talk soon about how I want, like, if you know them personally and you know that they're doing it already, like I want to help. That's basically the exact people that the exact people that I want to help, because trust, again, like just like you, trust is number one. It's I don't know if it's like a Slavic thing that like you're just suspicious, you know, where the money is gonna go. I know that's the first thought that I had when I'm thinking, okay, how do I send the money over? And then I don't want it to go toward, you know, administrative costs or whatnot, or to someone who, well, we all know, I mean, I'm a war refugee myself from as a kid. My mom was just telling me yesterday about how in a lot of cases, even humanitarian like packages were sent somewhere to help people, and then they were like they were held by the person that receives them and used misused for his own or her own good, which, so there's a lot of mistrust about this kind of stuff. But like I said, we're trying to operate on either I know them personally or my wife knows them personally, or a close friend knows someone personally. Basically, those are the only categories that we're sending the money to. And especially if they are already helping people, that they're not starting to do this because we started sending them money. There will be so many needs, and I mean, yeah. So basically, for now, this is how we're choosing who to send the money to. Anyone else? I have to run in like 2 minutes. I'm gonna leave you guys. We're not gonna end the call. Both Alex grew up until the age of 16 in Ukraine. Vadim, when did you come over?
2014. I moved here 2014 after
How
Crimea.
old were
was
you?
annexed.
How old were you? How old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah, when you came over.
I was 30, turning 31.
Okay, so these two people have spent, they grew up in the most literal sense in Ukraine, and they have a ton of context. They know both, all the rhetoric, the Russian rhetoric, the Ukrainian, American, Western, all of it, and they can tell you, they can shed light on if you have questions about the conflict itself, what's going on, why it's going on, what the people are feeling, doing, all of it. So I'm gonna make Alex, I'm gonna make you the call admin or whatever they call it, host. I'm gonna come back as quickly as I can. If you guys end the call whenever you feel like it's time to end the call, go ahead. But I have to go run over to the bank, and I apologize. This is literally the only time that they had open. So if you have more questions, feel free to call me, email me. I'm open book. Thank you very much for all your support. See you guys later.
Thank you, Daniel. Good luck. Good luck with the bank.
Yeah, too much pressure on me. First of all, I'm not in any way official spokesperson for Grace-T. I'm just a friend of Daniel who is trying to help in the name of the country that, that I was born in. So if you guys do have any questions in regards to what Daniel just mentioned, happy to answer them. Ta-da, no questions. Well, let me share like a bit of information about the friend who I'm working with, who is been most helpful for us in terms of finding where to put the money. So it's somebody who I known since I was probably 10 or 12. He has successfully started an online store and a physical store in Rivne, which is Western Ukraine. It's probably less than 100 miles away from the border with Belarus. And so he has a lot of social media influence through the years that that he built the profiles. And when he posted that they need help, volunteers help, there was a lot of people responding to that, just people in Rivne in the hometown. Also, obviously he has connections and resources to other means to pull people together. And he already sent us a bunch of videos where they organized like a little center where they bring just newly arrived people from Kiev, people who just arrived to Rivne. They basically bring them to this huge hall where there's a lot of food set up. Basically, I don't know if I haven't seen clothing there, but I know that their first priority was food. And actually, I watched. He posted some videos today, and I hope Daniel can somehow post repost those on the social media of Grace-T. We're still trying to figure out how to do all of that. But yeah, that was probably the best news that I woke up to over the past 10 days. It was just super nice to see people who are close to me having so much impact on what's happening there, because I don't know what's that syndrome called that recently has been posted on social media, where you have all these luxury, you have all this privilege, yet you're watching the horror that's happening on the other side of the world, and you're just feeling helpless and useless. And I know Daniel relates to that too. And this was at least my condition for the very first like 3 or 4 days, and you just you cannot do nothing to help fewer people in Ukraine. And that's when I started sending money. The cryptocurrency, I was trying to find people who have Ukrainian bank accounts who can send money between to Ukrainian bank accounts. So I started sending them cryptocurrency. That seemed to work well. Because I was sending them money in crypto, and they were then transferring that into hryvnias and in the Ukrainian currency to target bank accounts. So that's where I finally started feeling helpful and things got moving. And then Daniel came to me with the Grace tea, and I certainly hopped on board as much as I could. So there's that story. Let's see. John, do you have a good read on how fast or slow the invasion is going, and what's the morale like on the ground? From the news that I'm consuming, and I'm consuming mostly untranslated raw news from Ukraine. I know the language, obviously, and the morale is extremely high. There was only, Vadim, you may correct me on these news. There was only one big city that has been under Russian control, which is Kherson at this point. But if we're looking at Kharkiv, who is getting Kharkiv, the city that is getting bombed probably the most heavily at this point, the morale is still really high. I do have people who I talk to via text messages from Kharkiv. Most of them left the city in the first 3 days. Some of them stayed in the oblast, which is like the region of Kharkiv, like 20, 30 miles away. But most of the people left there in the very first 5 days, and texting them while they're have that minimal connection sitting in the subway station, and yeah, just listening to that, the horror that they're describing that's happening all around it. It was certainly not pleasant at all. And yeah, that was the first 5 days, but then they started moving out of Kharkiv to other regions. Some of them were able to get all the way to the Western Ukraine, where unfortunately
Yeah,
they
to
got
add to
drafted.
that, day 9 and 10, usually when, if you are in the same routine, negative routine, it starts pressing you down, it starts demoralizing you. That's why I think there is a question. And, the biggest example is Kherson, the cities that was besieged and then is under Russian control for several days. They did cut the power, they cut the water, there was no electricity, people who did not have heat. So you would think those would be the most demoralized people. And Russia didn't open the corridor for Red Cross to go and help, didn't open the corridor for Ukrainian humanitarian aid to go and help. They brought the help from Russia to Kherson, several trucks of food load. And guess what the people did? Asked them to leave back home. They're like, we don't need your stuff. You brought oil. I have oil. Who needs oil? People, who needs, I can share my oil with you. Vegetable oil, like who needs food? Like I have food, I can share food. Like, do you need anything from these trucks? And I don't know what happened with those trucks, because they came with cameras to film how Russia helps Russian speaking and Russians in Ukraine who are fighting for against the Nazi oppression of Russia, because Russia is still trying to push the story that Ukrainians, Russians in Ukraine want to be with Russia, and we are trying to help them to free them. So they are trying to push that story, make those videos, and see and show how they are freeing people from Ukrainian Nazis. So seeing that people that are under this level of distress are still fighting back, still don't accept anything from Russia, asking them to go back home, shows to me that the level of morale is still up, and Ukraine will fight to the end. It's like, it's already obvious they will fight to the end. It's just a matter of time when they have more help, especially with attacks from the air, that is going to speed up the victory, the protection of the cities, and like taking back control of the cities that Russia is right now got control of. Part of Mariupol, they got part of Mariupol, but Ukraine has had a counterattack last night, and they got that portion of Mariupol back. So Ukraine is fighting. They're going to be fighting till the end. Yeah, a few things. I want to add a few things about me and my heart, because I was fleeing Crimea when it was fully occupied, became Russian. And when all this started, I started shaking. I'm like, what is happening? I'm not there. The cities where my relatives, where my dad is, are not bombed. Why am I freaking out? What is going on? And I was like, in my mind, I was there in that car with my two little kids trying to go to the border of Crimea, new border of the Crimea and Ukraine, thinking, what is going to happen? Are they going to shoot us on the spot? Are they going to U-turn us and make us go back? Are they going to let us through? What is going to happen? So 3 suitcases, kids, my wife, we were able to cross the border. We are here in the States. We went to the States with just 3 suitcases, not knowing what is going to happen. And that's what people feel there right now. A lot worse, because I was not like, I've seen shots, I heard shots in the Crimea when they were taking over the military bases, but not even close to what people are living through right now in Ukraine. So I have compassion for them, and immediately I just started helping people and helping. But I was using PaySend to send money directly to specific people, or either like my friend, for example, he has a van, and you've seen the lines on the border with Poland, people stuck in their cars for several days. So what he did, he loaded his van with canisters of gasoline and food, and was just going in the line, giving people gas and giving them food, going back to Lviv, getting more, another load. So I'm like, Dima, you are doing that. I'm willing to help. How much do you need? I was sending money, but PaySend has $5,000 to $10,000 limit, and I'm at my limit. So that's why Grace T, let's work together. Let's continue the work. Let's do this, because people, especially and you can see that people who need help, they get help. Some of the families go to Poland, and then husbands see that, yeah, my wife and my kids, they're fine. I'm going back to fight. 40,000 men went back from European Union. They crossed the border with their families, went back to fight. So Ukraine is strong. They need the help. We have the ability to help. Let's help them.
So we have 2 questions. What happens to those left behind and not going west? What's your take, Vadim? Basically, those who are staying, left behind in the cities where they're getting bombed.
So for me, it depends the level of destruction, because my uncle, for example, he was staying behind. His decision was to stay behind. He prepped the basement of their church, prepped with bunk beds, with mattresses, with some food, and they were helping until the city started to get bombed and started to get sirens every night that they're going to be bombed. So if it's safe and people are there, they're staying there. And the best thing that they can do is help the army. If I was there, if that was me, I was there, I would wait for refugees. I would open my home to refugees. And that's what people do, everyone and anyone. They're trying to help each other and help the army. If you see location, if you see something is happening, the airplanes are flying, notify the army. There are hotlines to notify the army that this or that is happening. So that's what people are doing who are staying there. And you can see villagers stop tanks. They get tanks and hook it to the tractor and take it back to the village, and a lot of Russians are demoralized right now. A lot of Russian soldiers are surrendering, running away. Some of them just leaving their equipment and running away. Some of them, we found damaged gasoline tanks in their equipment, drain gasoline and leave the equipment there, reporting to their base saying that, hey, we couldn't get to the targets, to our destination. So that's what's happening on that side. And people who are staying in the villages, they can see that, they can provide the location to the army. They can provide refuge to those who are running away from Kyiv. So those who are staying there, trying to stay safe as much as possible and help those who are around them. That's what I hear, at least from the people that I know.
Vadim, if you can pick up the next question.
Would you know the visa process for Ukrainian to get to the US? And I would like to address the photographers on this call. Yeah, we can definitely talk about the photographers. But another, I have specific example, my friends. There was information that if you get to the embassy, to the US embassy, just get any kind of visa, come here, and then we'll get temporary protective status, TPS. We are going to try to file for refugee or asylum here in the States. Not the case. You go to USCIS website, to the immigration website of the United States. Ukraine is not on the list of protective countries to receive a TPS, to receive the temporary protective status, even for the period of the war. So my friend's sister was in Warsaw, was in Poland. She left Ukraine, came to Poland, set up an appointment, and attorneys recommend put that you are a flight crew just as long as you get to the embassy and talk to an officer. Anything that will get you there. She got an appointment within 3 days, got in there, and got denied. Hundreds of people that day that were in line with her got denied. Our government here in the US didn't do anything yet to accept refugees. Poland, yes, open the border. You have international passport, not come in, you're seeking refuge here. We'll file a refugee status for you. If you just temporarily here and you are willing to go back home, 3 to 6 months extension, stay there. America didn't do it yet. Ukraine is not on the list of the refugee countries that can come to the States right now. So, and you know, the funny part, and I'm trying to be as forgiving and as graceful to Russian. I have friends in Russia who are trying to flee Putin regime. But you know, when ladies who are trying to unite with their fiancés in the States from Russia are getting visas, and then my friends who are fleeing war zones don't, and they're staying in the same line, something's wrong. And I know that it's probably just a matter of time until US figures out how to get refugees here and how to do all these things. But until then, right now, hundreds of people are just getting denials.
Yeah, I'd just like to say something just real briefly. So I see about maybe 40% of the people on the call are actually really influential photographers. So it would be lovely for us all to coordinate on helping Grace T. And so if any of you want to do that, reach out to me or Jen at World's Best Wedding Photos. It's Jen, G-E-N-N-J, excuse me, E-N-N, Jen at World's Best Wedding Photos. She does our social media. I don't know what we can do. I mean, but just try to get anything. And I have no words for what's happened. It's beyond, and my heart is just so broken. And I know people around the world stand with you. Vadim, the story that you told about the people turning back the food is so powerful. And I really feel like that would be a great thing to get out on social media, but also maybe contact the media with, because you know how they are. They're always looking for the story, right? That is a story of real serious courage. And I think that should be told on a much larger scale. I'm not that kind of a media expert by any means, but I have had some luck in the past when I've had things that I was upset about, just calling local stations and having that get larger. So yeah, but thank you so much for everything that you've said and done. And
question about our government here. Yes, contact your government, contact your senators, governors, send them emails, explain that you would like to see America participate in helping refugees. If you would like to, if that's your heart, if you just want to help refugees, ask them to do that, to open borders, to have a temporary, because with temporary protective status, that's a temporary status until the war in Ukraine is going to end, right? The war ends, the job of the officers, immigration officers, to find those people and send them back home. Refugee and asylum status is a little bit different, but just pushing that to your governors to show that the nation of the US is requesting, wants the government to do what the nation wants, and the nation wants to help refugees of Ukraine, that should be, because if you don't voice it out, how are they going to know that the people do want it? Because the governors, when they look at it, they see, you know, many different aspects. One of the aspects, our economy will go down. And it's simple, it's logical. You know, someone comes from Ukraine and he's willing to work for $15, $16 an hour. That's below minimum wage. You know, we don't want to do that. We don't want to drive minimum wage down, but at the same time, we want to provide refuge to those who need it. You know, so if you want to give them a temporary status, yes, your job then as officers of immigration office is to track those people down and send them back when Ukraine is out of the conflict. You know, so that's my thinking, my way of thinking. And yeah, we do have petitions that on social media. If you want to add me, I'm posting those a lot. My friends whose sister didn't get the visa, they posted, and they did tag our president. They did tag immigration office. They did send letters. If you want to see copies of their letters that they sent to senators here in Washington and the governor, we can probably share that. I can ask them to share that as well. So yes, speak up, speak up.
I have somebody on the line with us who joined under my name. His name is Dmitry, actually, and he is one of those who is currently being left behind. Dmitry, can you say hello to us? Can you hear us?
Hello, everyone.
So Dmitry is somebody who works with me for the past 7 years. I've met Dmitry in person in 2016 when we were traveling in Lviv together, and Dmitry is currently located here. I'm sending the Google Maps link. Dmitry, if you can tell us about, you know, what you're experiencing there as far as your living condition, and what's the plan?
For now, we are living in my father's house. We moved here on the first day of the war, and we living here here 9 people, and like it not big house, but it's enough for normal living for a short period of time. Like we rescued our cats, so they live in one, like here, like in the house 5 cats also. So it's a little bit like some people even don't have such opportunity to rescue their pets with there from Kharkiv. And like today, more and more people leave Kharkiv because there are a lot of bombing every day, and many people dies every day, and it's very difficult to live there. So for now, my like we don't have exact plan. We are waiting for maybe like our government waiting from other country that they can help us by closing air above Ukraine, so that Russian can't bombing us from the flight, and it will be like big help, like the most, I guess, significant help for people in Ukraine, because our infrastructure ruins every day. Like it's like very difficult to like осознавать,
to understand, to
realize.
learn,
realize that your like lovely city destroyed step by step, dynamically, and like it's difficult.
Do you have friends who you're in touch with in Kharkiv, who you get news from every day, or
yesterday, like 7 days, on the 7th day, it was the hardest bombing in the city. So all my friends leave Kharkiv, because it's dangerous. Girls and women with children was rescued by trains. There are a lot of trains, but it's also difficult. Like it's in some level dangerous because bombing everywhere, not only like не только, скорее.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
for it.
you can say it in Russian. I'll translate. I'll translate.
Like it's like military area.
Не только что. Говори на русском, я переведу.
Да, то есть сейчас бомбятся, ну, то есть поначалу бомбили только военные склады там или какие-то взлетные полосы.
At first, Russian soldiers were bombing only military bases and strategic spots.
Yes, but now it's bombing civil infrastructure like school, kindergartens, government buildings, sport, like gym buildings, volunteers places. Even was bombing on the railway station, so it's also difficult to rescue it from the big town, big cities. But Kharkiv is not under occupation, and they are fighting still. But we don't have enough like power in the sky, I guess. And my friends already moved from Kharkiv, but they live there like granny that like не согласились to move.
Didn't agree.
Didn't agree.
Did not agree.
From Kharkiv because they're living their life, and they said that like many old people said that if they survive in the second civil war, they will survive in this war also. Like it's very equal, I guess. What happens here?
We have a
Yep.
question from Gentai. What's the shortage? What do you need most of right now? And like, let's say in the household, do you guys need food? Do you need clothing, other provisions? What is it that in your household you guys need most?
Actually, we placed about 40 kilometers behind, like near the closest fighting places. It's in the city of Ochtyrka. But here live like people live their lives almost in full. No, okay, no, it's
Normal lives, pretty much in this little town. It's
a lot. A lot of shops closed. We don't have gas here. We have shortage of like meaningful products. But we live here, like we have food, we have light, gas, like we warm here. So we here, no, I live here in good accommodation, despite the fact that we here a lot of people. But in Kharkiv, like lack of food because Kharkiv in the в облоге.
Besieged. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's difficult, and they don't
and
have
the food shortage is a difficult thing because it's hard. Like not many humanitarian aids, even like people in surrounding towns don't want to go because main roads. Russia is surrounding Kharkiv on the main roads and attacking every day. They're getting closer to Kharkiv to attack. As soon as Ukraine fights back, they go back to the safe zone where Ukraine cannot reach them from Kharkiv. But the road itself is blocked. The block posts are Russian, so people cannot get to Kharkiv easily to bring produce. I know that some of the trains that are taking women and children out and they're coming back, right now Ukraine is sending trains loads of food to get back. but who knows? Russia is trying to bomb. They're trying to do probably the same thing as with Kherson, where they want to drain all the resources within the city and then come and be the rescuer and help everyone and bring their own trucks of produce and shoot videos of how they are helping
Exactly.
poor Ukrainians. So hopefully the trains with the food that are loaded in Western Ukraine are going to make it, because a lot of them get produce even from Poland, from Germany, from surrounding countries, not even Ukraine only. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that those trains are going to get to Kharkiv and going to bring more produce, because as Dima is saying, it's hard to even my sisters in-laws, like when they were there, they, as I told you, they got out from their from the basement of the apartment block where they were to go to their house and feed the dog and get some produce. In the on the halfway on the road, got into a shooting, ran back. They're all safe, but they couldn't get the produce even while they're there in Kharkiv. And they have some preserved food at their home. They couldn't get home to get it. So some people are afraid to even get out and get to the store, even if some of the stores still have food, and give it for free. So it's crazy. Dima, my heart is with you, what you are going through. I'm glad you're safe right now, and glad you were able to rescue your cats as well. It's, you know, sometimes that can help to go through emotional stress, you know, and eliminate additional stress if you're leaving your loved, even pets, behind.
Yeah, thank you a lot.
Thank you, Dima. Yeah, thank you, Dima, for sharing your story. We're gonna be wrapping up in a couple minutes. There's a question: Is there no air support for supply drops? Are there any supply drops being dropped from the air, or is it all? I'm sorry. Are all the supplies being transported on the ground right now?
Не совсем понял.
Есть ли поддержка? Могут ли сбрасывать помощь из воздуха, из самолетов, или сейчас вообще нет возможности летать?
It's
над
dangerous
Украиной?
to fly around the country because there are a lot of истребитель, it's destroyers,
Fighter jets.
fighter jets. Yes, and it's too dangerous, and that's why we got like помощь from the border by train, by
Request help. Yep, request help from NATO. Yeah, and this is why, because Ukraine doesn't have enough equipment to fight in the air. That's why they're asking to block the air. And some of the countries that are blocking the air, they are blocking passenger aircrafts from Russia not to go to their countries. That's not what Ukraine needs. We need equipment that is going to detect missiles, detect fire jets in the air, and take them out. What Ukraine has right now is Ukraine has its own jets that are getting in the sky, and when they detect them, they take them out. They have some of the missile detection and that can take them out in the air, but not a lot. So that's like being in the air is not an option right now. On ground, trucks, trains, that's the way to go. And Russia has hundreds of planes. This is why Ukraine is asking so much, US, NATO, please cover the air. We got the battle on the ground. Just make sure to just block anything in the air. We will get this on the ground.
Exactly, yes.
Great, thank you all. This is gonna be it for today. I don't know what Daniel is gonna do with the recording, but yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining. And so deep thank you from my heart for supporting Ukraine, wherever you are, even like verbal support on social media. That all of that matters and means a lot to us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, and Daniel, huge thank to you guys for doing all this.
Yep. All right. Have a
Yep.
good rest of your day, and we'll
Thank you.
chat
You
next
too.
week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.